Cool. Well, again, guys, really appreciate you hopping on the Zoom call. I'll give one more quick introduction for Gabe. So, Gabe actually dominates in his marketplace down in San Diego. He sold hundreds of homes. He's a master when it comes to communication and delivering value for his clients. And so he's going to break down for us how he gets listings at 6%, how he absolutely just annihilates the objections that people give him. And he's going to share his secrets with us today so we can implement it into our business and flourish in 2025. So, Gabe, I'll go ahead and give you the stage, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want this to be more of like a lesson, more of a class for all of us. So if you guys can do me a favor, grab a pen and a paper, and ideally cameras on. This way I can feel engaged with all of you. Let me change my screen so I can see everyone. Give me a moment.
Mhm.
All right, boom. Silvano, what's up, bro? Good to see you, brother.
How you doing, Gabe?
Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining, bro. Always a pleasure to see you, bro. Congrats on the was it a baby shower you guys had?
Yeah, we had a baby shower. Congrats on your boy.
Dude, thank you, bro. It's been a blessing, man. Going through that whole phase again at this part of life, but
Yes.
it's a beautiful
I'll be
blessing.
there in a couple months.
I know you will. We'll
I'll
have more
move
to
you.
talk about then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Good, man. Appreciate you guys jumping on board. Thanks for turning your cameras on. You guys, the rest of you guys can turn your cameras on. It's all right if you're not fully dressed. This is why I came this way to make you guys feel a little more comfortable. But the reason I want to do that is because, I want you to bring your attention and your intention to the call so that you're getting the most out of it. What I'm getting ready to talk to you about today and what I've prepared for, what they've asked me to do is to teach you what it is that I do in my business for the last 10 years to take 6%, 7% listings where I'm taking 4 and 5% on the list side. And some of those times I've double ended the deals, taken the full commission, plus charged our buyer a premium fee of 1% plus the TC fee. So there's incidences where I'm walking with 6, 7, 8% on my transactions. And it's because the value is there, what I deliver. It's how you establish it. And so, it's no different. Let's talk about mindset first. It's no different than the high profile attorney. No different than the best contractor in your area. No different than the top CPA, top financial advisor. You're talking about people who are, billionaires, for example. Who manages the billionaire's portfolio? Who tells them how and when to make their money move? It isn't the billionaire. I'm sure they have a level of understanding, but they have a money team. Give me a second. Hold on. The camera's turning off. I think that's mine. There we go. Okay.
You're good, bro. You're good now.
So you have to understand that these people who are operating at a high level have a team around them to make these high level decisions. So if you ever want to get yourself to a 6% listing, 7% listing, 7% plus you double end and charge 1% to your buy side, you have to believe that you can. You have to believe that you're worthy to do it. I joke around often and I tell people that if we spoke to other people the way that we spoke about ourselves, we wouldn't have any friends. Right? How many of us out there say these kind of things? I'm so dumb. That's stupid. I shouldn't have done that. I'm always making mistakes. I'm lazy. I feel bad. I don't feel good. You don't have to volunteer. You don't have to volunteer it. But how many of you on the call today can say to yourself, yeah, I do speak that over myself. And believe it or not, those words affect your physiological state.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm telling you is this isn't some hocus pocus. This is science. We're talking about how your words affect how you think. And don't get confused here. I'm going to go a little deeper. I wasn't planning on going this deep, but it's pulling me here. I'm going to go a little deep. Don't get confused thinking that the skin that you have and the blood that's circulating through your body, don't get confused thinking that you're just a bag of flesh and bones. You are, at the core of it, a computer. There's really no difference if you really break it down between you and your desktop computer. Your desktop computer has a shell. You have a shell. Your desktop computer has a screen where you can see. You can see. And your computer also has a motherboard or a memory card, and it's going to continue flickering out for whatever reason. I'm going to have to fix that in a second. But your computer also has a motherboard in which operates the entire computer. And that's your brain. And the only difference between you and that computer is that you have multiple softwares within your body that run simultaneously. You have your skeletal system, your endocrine system, your central nervous system. You have all these systems in your body that are running simultaneously that the brain is computing and managing. And whether you know it or not, your conscious being, is the person behind the keyboard pushing all the buttons. Like, let me ask you all a question. How many of you on this call are terrified of public speaking? Just be honest. If we were to give you a mic, put you on a stage, right? See a couple of hands raised over there. Drop it in the chat. If your camera's not on, drop it in the chat. Leslie says me. All right. Ray, is my screen better? Rebecca says me.
Yep, your screen looks great, bro.
Awesome, brother. Thank you. Okay. Now, what if I said this to you? I'm like, hey, Leslie, Rochelle, Sharon, tomorrow you're doing a public talk in front of the entire office. You're doing a training on your journey in real estate and how you got to where you're at. Immediately, all of you, 100%, immediately, all of you, your heart would start racing. You would start losing your breath. You'd get nervous. And listen to this, team. Listen to this. All over something that hasn't even happened yet. Let that settle in for a second. All over something that hasn't even happened yet. So, Gabe, you're telling me that my mind cannot distinguish the difference between what is made up and reality. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Your mind does not have the ability to distinguish the difference between what is reality and what has been made up. Your brain only knows what you tell it, just like your computer. You open up your computer, it's not going to go to Zoom. You have to punch in a bunch of keys, www.xyz, to get to your site. You have to go in your computer brain, type in a bunch of codes and say, I'm nervous. It pushes the button. Your central nervous system, your endocrine system shoots out a bunch of feelings and thoughts. And then you have a physical reaction over something that never even happened. So, team, what if you could harness that same power, but to your benefit? What if you could tell yourself, I am that 6% listing agent. I am a luxury agent. I am healthy. I am happy. I'm focused. I'm disciplined. I'm hungry for more. I'm humble. I'm a leader. I dominate. I am an early bird. I can stay up late and put in overtime. What if you spoke to yourself and thought about that? If you were to tell yourself that you're better than Josh Altman, you're better than all these multi-billion-dollar listing agents that are out there. If you were to tell yourself that you're better than all of them, and your mind actually believed it, oh man, the physiological changes you start to see would be immeasurable. The amount of business you would attract would be overwhelming. The changes in your life would be so positively impacting you, you'd be smiling every single day. So how do I get 6%, 7% listings? It all starts with the way that I think. I think I can, therefore I will. So I want a lot of you out there right now who are looking at this and thinking, okay, step number one, how do I do this, right? What I do is I put myself in a powerful state every single day. I call this priming. I call this priming myself. When I wake up, I make sure I take care of me first. Before I take care of anyone else, I take care of me. I used to take care of everyone else first, and then I would always get a beating at the very end, and that was exhausting. Have you guys ever tried, filling up a cup from an empty faucet? You go to the faucet, you get your cup, you open it up, and it's empty, nothing's coming out. You're like, dang, the faucet's empty. Therefore, my cup is empty. Well, what do we do every single day as salespeople? We wake up from our faucet that's depleted. We pour into our wives, we pour into our kids, we pour into our business, we pour into our clients, we pour. And we're not pouring from a place of abundance, we're pouring from a place of depletion. How can you give something you don't have? So it's really important that every single day I fill my cup first. I prime myself. I pray. I read a book. I work out. I eat healthy. I sleep well. I take my vitamins. I look at myself and I take my time getting ready so I feel good. And into that my body, my mind, I give it the information, www.xyzfeelgood.com. And I give my mind that information. And what does it do? It says, you feel good, you look good, you believe you can, therefore you will. Your wish is my command. Boop, pushes a button, and it shoots my body full of positive endorphins, positive feelings. I'm happy, I'm in a good state. My endocrine system is firing off. My central nervous system feels great. All these different parts of my body and my world feel great because I took care of myself and I programmed my computer to think that way. So whether you think, this is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Let's see if any of you know who cited this quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, both ways you're right. Who said that quote? Who can tell me?
Is that Napoleon Hill?
Mr. Ford.
Mm.
Mr. Ford. Whether you think you can, both ways are right.
Mm-hmm.
He could have gotten it from Napoleon Hill. Maybe they masterminded and came up with it together.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it was Mr. Ford here, Henry Ford. Ford Motors. Okay, so step number one, I prime myself every single day and I get myself ready for battle. All right, last thing I'll say is this. Any history book that you read on any country that went out and dominated, there was never one soldier who woke up, got out of bed, went straight into battle, unless he was forced to, he got invaded, but by choice, never got out of bed, left his shield at home, left his headgear at home, left his shin guards at home. When they wake up in the morning, they prime themselves. They put on their chest plate, they put on their shin guards, they put on their helmets, they get their shields, they get their swords, and then they tell themselves after that point, I'm going to battle. A lot of you are waking up every morning and you're leaving your chest plate. So when you get hit in the chest by life, of course it hurts. A lot of you are going out into the world not putting on your helmet. Of course, when you get shot in the head, you're going to pass out. What are those shots? It's someone telling you, never mind, we decided to list with someone else. Boom! Are you ready for that shot? Hey, I'm canceling my pre-approval appointment tonight. We're not ready to buy. Boom! Oh, you got a flat tire on the way to work. Boom! All these shots that life is going to give you. It's inevitable. Are you ready for battle? Chances are you haven't been priming yourself properly. So get yourself ready for battle. Step number one. All right. Now let's talk about let me pause there for a second. Any questions or thoughts on that? I don't know if this is more of a discussion, Reyes, or just talking to.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I love what you're breaking down for us so far. If you guys have questions, please just let us know right away because one thing that I really learned from Gabe is that, the more involved you are, the more you're actually going to take away from this. And it's so true because gaining that right state of mind and being that right person and developing the right character all is more important than just giving you the scripts to say because if you go into battle like Gabe says but you're not in the right mindset, you're not on the right frequency, then none of that stuff's gonna even matter. So I'm with you 100% on that, Gabe. Honestly, bro, I'm sitting back, I'm taking it all in, I'm gonna let you do your thing, but if you guys have questions at any point, just feel free to let Gabe know and he's gonna break it down for us.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and you guys go ahead and interrupt if you have a conversation or something you want to share. Go ahead and text, call, whatever that might be. Send me a message down below and hop on the call, open your mic, and interject if you want. All right, so let's talk about the modern day sales process. So before selling, you buy or die kind of mindset, that was before. There's something called the modern day sales process. And it's not mine. It was one of my coaches. I learned from him. I learned from another coach. And then from everything that they've given me, I kind of come up with my own ideology on how things are done. Because when I coached with Mike Ferry back in the day, that way of speaking to clients and forcing them to sign works back then. But now our consumers are really educated, so it doesn't work that way anymore. So here's the modern day sales process. I'm going to try to get through all of them as quickly as I can. But number one, you have to build rapport. Number two, you present. Number three, you objection handle. Number four, you close. What does that look like? So my process of getting 6% listings starts before the listing appointment. Now, if I cold called you, if I door knocked you, if I attracted you through social media, which 80 to 90% of my business now comes from social media, my process is always going to be the same. Just so I know the audience that I'm speaking to, how many of you have a listing process that's duplicatable? Not something that you figure out along the way, oh, I have to do that, I have to do this. How many of you have a system and a process, a protocol that you follow every time you get a phone call or speak to a seller who wants to sell? Drop it in the chat. I want to see how many of you actually have a customized, duplicatable system that you follow every single time. Drop it in the chat and be honest. Be honest. One, we got Silvana. Anyone else? Valentine? Reyes, yes. 4 people. Perfect. Okay. So then we'll go into it a little deeper since we have just created a process. That's awesome, Carlos. I'd love that. Okay. So 5 out of the call that we have that are doing it. So for the other 21, 22, let's talk about what you need to do. If you don't have a process, you need to create one. How do you create a process? It's very simple. I want you guys to come up with this exercise. Let's just say, can someone drop their favorite musician, their favorite actor or actress in the chat? Like, who's your favorite musician, your favorite? If you saw them and you were like, man, I'd take a picture, I'd get your autograph. Like, you would just lose your cool if you saw this person in real life. Okay, let's see here. We have J-Lo, Bad Bunny, LeBron James. All right, Luis Miguel. Okay, J-Lo and Diana Ross. Okay, let's go with Luis Miguel. All right, so Angela, let's go with Luis Miguel. Angela, are you available to open up your mic for a quick conversation?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If Luis Miguel were to call you right now and say, hey, is this am I speaking with Angela? You're like, yeah, this is Angela. Hey, this is Luis Miguel. Luis Miguel, the singer? Yes. You're like, oh my gosh, right? And then he tells you this. He says, Angela, I heard you're the best in the area. I have a property I want to sell. Can you help me? How would you respond? What would you do next?
I would say, absolutely. Send me the address. Let's talk about the details.
What would your what would your mannerisms be like in your vocabulary, in your conversation? Can you kind of give me some insight onto what that would sound like? What would it be like?
I think just like that, I would say, absolutely. What are the, send me the details. I would love to help you with this. Let's meet up. When do you have time today? I'm available today I would clear my schedule for that. So I wouldn't say that, but I was like, I wouldn't say what works for you. I would say, how about today at, 12 o'clock or whatever.
So let's say he agrees. He wants to tomorrow at 12. All right. So the next day at 12, so you have time to prepare. Mm-hmm. What does the experience look like that you bring? What do you do? And I don't mean experience in terms of your expertise. Mm-hmm. I mean the experience of what he's going to see and feel from the way that you cater to him and what you do. What is that going to look like?
Well, this is where I fail, because I freak out, and then I don't have like a duplicatable process. So far, like, I don't even have like an updated listing presentation. I just don't have anything like ready.
So you wouldn't bring him flowers? You wouldn't thank you card? You wouldn't thank you please? You wouldn't be polite to him? I'm talking about what you would do, who you would be.
What I would do?
I'm talking about the experience you would bring to him.
I wouldn't fangirl for sure. I would be very professional. I would just treat him like I would treat anybody else. And I would just be me, just be real and
come prepared with all your documents and everything ready, very professional and all that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we just did there is you created the framework for your process. Mm-hmm. You would take the call. Mm-hmm. You would have a series of questions that you would ask. You would schedule an appointment. You would prepare for your appointment. You would show up and you would execute the plan.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference between you and I right now is that you haven't written it down and you haven't filled in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very simple. You just told me what it was. I would take the call. I would ask a series of questions. I would prepare for the appointment. I would show up and I would execute. So there's your framework. You should be writing this down. And then after that, you fill in the blank with what needs to happen in between. But let me pause you there for a second. Now, does a 6%, let me ask you all a question. Drop it in the chat. Does your high profile attorney open his door to you if you wanted to see him right now in 2 hours? Or does he make you go through his secretary and schedule an appointment?
You guys schedule an appointment.
Secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does your surgeon, your OBGYN, your doctor that's high profile, killing it in business, all that stuff, does that person, do they see you immediately on the spot? Or do you have to schedule an appointment? Obviously short of an emergency, but if you just wanted to see them right now because you felt like it, would they see you right now or would you have to schedule an appointment?
No, you have to schedule an appointment.
So then why, as a professional, when Luis Miguel calls you, you're willing to clear your calendar and go see him right now? What is that? What message are you relaying to your client? Are you relaying, I'm a 6% professional? Or are you relaying, I don't have any business and I'm gonna go take this right now, whatever price I can get? I want you guys to start thinking about this. What you say, what you don't say, says more about who you are than what you say you are.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that again. What you don't say says more about who you are than who you say you are. So you can tell me you're a 6% agent, but if you clear your schedule for me right now, you just told me everything I need to know about you. A lot of you, see, the problem is what I see with a lot of real estate agents is that they want to be a luxury agent. They want to be a 6% agent, 7% agent. They want to dominate in listings, but they don't act like it. See, a lot of you right now on the call, there's nothing, there's no standard, there's no protocol, there's no procedure. So anything that comes in your way, you're willing to take it. That's not a top 6% mentality. That's not a top listing broker mentality. So what you have to do is you have to have systems, processes in place to enforce that 6% value. My clients, they've been texting me all morning. I responded to everybody. I'll get back to you in the afternoon. I have morning appointments. My anxiety is down. I'm relaxed. I'm in charge. And I'm going to over deliver on whatever it is they need me to help with, but I'm the expert. I'm in control. You can't walk into my doctor's office telling me you want to see me right now. I can't walk into my attorney's office right now, so you better seat me and sit down with me. Now, if they were paying me 10%, things might be a little different, right? Because now it's a priority. You're shifting priority over here. But for the most part, there's a system and a process to how we do business. So number one, I need you guys to all establish, we talked about mindset. Second thing you have to do is you need to have your systems and processes implemented. So the reason I asked that exercise is how would you act if J-Lo called you, LeBron James called you? You need to have a standard operating procedure of how you work with everyone. And the way you create that is by giving everyone a celebrity-like experience. Luxury is not a price. Luxury is an experience. Luxury is how you show up. Luxury is how you speak. Luxury is how you present. Luxury is how you articulate the message. Luxury is your relationships that you carry. Luxury is not 15 million. I can go get a 18-year-old kid at a high school from the hood, throw a suit on him, have him host an open house at a $50 million listing, and will he deliver luxury? No. He's going to deliver what he knows at 18 years of age from the hood. Luxury is a mind space. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of being. It's who you are as a person. And a lot of us aren't operating at a luxury mind space. So that luxury experience that you're going to give to J-Lo, LeBron James, Luis Miguel, that needs to be the experience that you give to all your clients. I'm going to clear my schedule for you. I'm going to show up right now with all the level of enthusiasm that you imagine if J-Lo were to call you. Imagine if LeBron James were to call you. How would you feel? That's how you need to treat everyone. That's the luxury experience. That's the 6% right there. Get on the phone. Hey, how's it going? Good afternoon. Wonderful. I appreciate that. Your tonality, the conversation, all of that needs to reflect 6%. 6% is a byproduct of who you are and what you've done. That's all it is. Do they feel you're worth that amount? If you show up to your listing appointments in t-shirts and shorts and sandals, and you present yourself on social media a certain way, is that incongruency with the 6% agent? No, I might just say, man, we're cool, bro. I'll throw you 2%, man. We're good. You're not doing anything special or differently than anyone else is doing right now. Okay. And then we settle. So again, have a system and a process. How would you do it? Exactly with the exercise we just did. I just gave that answer for all of you. And some of you have to redefine your process to make it to feel a little more luxurious. I'll kind of give you a little insight into mine. When I get a phone call from someone and they want to sell their home, I have 5 go-to questions that I have all the time on the first call. How long have you owned your home? How much? What's your current loan balance? Do you have an additional lien on the property? Is there an HOA? Is there a second HOA? Do you have Mello-Roos on the home? And what is your time? If you were to sell, what's your timeline for the sale? 5 go-to questions every time. Because you know why? If I call my doctor and he doesn't know what to ask me, I'm nervous. If I go to my doctor and he tries to prescribe me medication without knowing my pain and how it happened, I'm nervous. Wait, bro, you haven't even asked me how I got hurt. You haven't even asked me how long I've been hurt. You haven't even asked me if I've taken any medication up to this point or if I'm allergic to anything. And automatically you want to cut me open and give me medicine? Come on, somebody. Is this resonating with you? Are you seeing the connection between how attorneys and doctors conduct their business and how we don't sometimes? A lot of us, we jump straight into that listing appointment and we're ready to go to work. We're ready to cut that person open. We're ready to prescribe. Well, you know what you need to do? You got to do this. Wait, you haven't even asked me what I'm looking to do. So first phone call, I have 5 questions, and those are the questions that I have that are go-to every time. Because what ends up happening is this. Now when they call me and I have questions that I'm asking them, their guard goes down because they feel like they know what they're doing. Oh, I'm in good hands. Yeah, my loan is this. My thing is this. The reason I'm selling is that. And my timeline is whenever it makes sense for me. I just want to get some information. Hey, listen, I get it. You just want some info. This is preliminary. I'm going to prepare my proposal so we can sit down in detail and have a discussion over what's best for you. Maybe it is best for you to sell. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But when I have this information, we'll sit down together on Saturday. Does that make you feel good? Does that sound good to you? It sounds great. Wonderful. My staff will reach out to you by the end of the day today with next steps. And immediately, same day, thank you card gets overnighted. Overnighted, handwritten thank you card gets overnighted to the client. And the next morning, and you know what we do? Here, I'll give you my little secret sauce. We put a $5 scratcher card inside of it. A $5 scratcher card. And we hit the lotto when you called us. Now we hope you hit it. See you tomorrow. See you Saturday at 12. And I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you're broke. If someone sends you a letter and it's cute like that and you get a scratcher card, you feel like a kid on Christmas. Number one, you feel like a kid on Christmas because you got a handwritten note. True or true? When we get emails now, we're like, another email. But when we get a letter, an envelope with our name written on it, we're like, oh, who wrote me? Who sent me this letter in the mail? Come on, true or true? Isn't that funny though? Before in 2000, when the internet boom happened, that emails were like wow, I got an email. Now it's like, oh, we don't even look at our emails anymore as professionals. We have our assistant do it. Come on, somebody who knows what I'm talking about.
Bro, you're dropping fire right now, man. I'm soaking it all in. Shoot, keep it going, bro. Keep it going.
So thank you card goes out right away. We have that letter and it's immediate. It's a process. It's a system that we created. I want everyone to have that luxury experience. All right, moving forward. Now let's talk about the actual listing process itself. So our listing consists of we have our 5 questions that we ask every single client on the call. That's the first thing we do. Preliminary call, you have to have your go-to questions. After we have our listing appointment, minimum 4 days out if we can from the date we spoke to the client. Here's why. 1, we need at least 24 hours to prepare for the listing appointment. Run sales comparables, get net sheet, study the neighborhood, study the home. Has it been on the market? Has it been sold before? We're studying for 24 hours. Once we've prepared our sales comparables and our net sheet, and our listing proposal, which our listing marketing plan, which is pretty much always the same, unless it's a very unique home. But we prepare all that in advance. Day two, we email the listing proposal to the client. That's day two, before the listing appointment. Day three, we call the client the day before the appointment. Hey, did you get the proposal? I did. You got a chance to review everything, right? Yes. Good. You reviewed my commission structure? Yes. You reviewed the fees that we charge? Yes. You reviewed my marketing plan? Yes. You reviewed the listing agreement? Yes. Okay, so you reviewed everything, right? Yes. Do you have any questions for me regarding what I sent over to you? Nope, everything looks good. Perfect. So as long as everything makes sense to you, you feel comfortable and confident with me that I can sell your home, you're planning on listing with me, right? Yeah, we do. Sounds good. Tomorrow should take about 30 minutes. I'm just going to go over the game plan, go over the timeline. If you have to prepare your home, I'll get all the contracts signed and we'll head out. Sounds good, Gabe. See you tomorrow. Now I know I got to come list me call, baby. I'm not going up. I'm not. There's no competition. They already told me they're going to hire me. But could you imagine if I didn't have that call before the appointment, what the appointment would look like? And I went in there with the expectation that I'm going to get it signed. Oh, wait, Gabe, the 6%. Well, actually, we're interviewing 2 other agents right after you. How do you prepare for that on the spot? That is terrible. That is being reactive, not proactive. And professionals are proactive. Write that down. Professionals are proactive. We get ahead of it. So in your proposal that you emailed the night before, when we send that over, what I want you guys to do is to send everything over to them the second day, 2 days before the appointment. And on the day before the appointment, you do your pre-qualifying script. Did you get a chance to review anything? Do you have any questions about anything? Yeah, I saw that you had a 6% listing on there. Is that negotiable? Got it. Thanks for asking me that, Greg. I appreciate it. It sounds like the commission structure is really important to you. Yeah, actually, my wife brought it up. Okay, so that's important to Yaleen. Okay, you got it there. I'm going to write that down. Besides the 6% commission, was there any other things you had questions on? I don't handle the objection on the phone. You're crazy. Could you imagine an attorney trying to deal with all that high profile case over the phone, a doctor trying to tell you your OBGYN, your blood work and all that? They have you come to the office. You sit down like a professional face to face and we discuss all your worries. And you're cool, calm, and collected. Now I know you have an issue with my 6%. And then all my pre-qualifying questions before your appointment. Are you interviewing anyone else? You have to ask the tough question. Hey, listen, kind of a silly question, but are you guys interviewing any other brokers? No, no one else. Okay, I didn't think so. I just wanted to ask. Nonchalant, not a big deal. You hear the tonality and how I delivered it? I'm not. Hey, so Greg, are you interviewing someone else for the job? Are you talking to other realtors? I don't come off worried. I don't put that energy out there. It's, hey, just out of curiosity, man, are you guys interviewing any other brokers? No, we're not. Sounds good. I didn't think so. Anyways, moving on. Brush it away quickly. Get over it. But if you don't ask that question and you walk into that appointment unprepared and they tell you they got 2 more agents they're interviewing after you and you don't have their stats, you don't know who they are, you can't articulate with your words your value proposition over theirs, you're not closing. Now they're going to have to find out for themselves if that agent's better than you or not because you couldn't tell them from your experience. So, I don't care if you're a new agent or a top producing agent. I will spin that narrative and make sure that you understand they're not the right fit for you. Gabe, do you sell any houses in my area? This guy's right here is a top agent. He sells in my area. Hey, listen, if this was before 2000, I think you'd agree with me that having a local area expert would be important, right? Yeah, it would be. Exactly. But we all know who Theo Google is if they're Mexican. Theo Google is, right? Or if they're white, or Caucasian, it doesn't matter. I just try to build rapport. Step 1 is building rapport like we talked about. Uncle Google talks about, we can find out anything about any area that we want with the click of TripAdvisor, with Yelp, with Google. That's actually how I was able to find out that you have a school nearby, a hospital nearby, a highway nearby, the development project that's happening at the Bayfront. I was able to find all that out within a 15-minute Google search. So I'm sure you agree with me that a local area expert is not as important as it used to be, right? No, it's not as important. I guess you're right. So then what is important then? It's important who can expose your property to the most people and get you the most money, right? Yeah, that's most important. Okay, let's talk about how we do that. I handle well, anyways, now we're talking about objection handling, but that's different. What I'm talking about is preparing for that objection. If you don't know what the objections are going to be, how are you going to handle them? How are you going to prepare for them? So on that pre-qualifying call, I want you guys all to have some questions you're asking in order to prepare for the listing appointment. Are you interviewing other agents? Do you have any questions about my proposal? And whatever they tell you, you note it and say, okay, it sounds like it's important to you. I'll spend a little more time with you when I meet with you on Saturday. You don't handle it over the phone. So we have our pre-qualifying call. I now know who I'm going up against, the objections I'll be handling at that time. And then I prepare, customize my discussion, my presentation, my proposal in an order where I handle those objections while I'm presenting. Let's see, we have a question down below. What is your reply when they say they are interviewing others? So let me tell you what I do. I ask them for so the number one thing that I do is I'll tell the owner on the phone, hey, I want to make sure that you're interviewing someone who's actively licensed and insured. What's their broker's license number? I'll make sure that everything's legitimate for you. The last thing you want to do is sign a contract with someone who isn't insured and licensed actively. Oh yeah, sure, here it is. And I pause and I just wait. You give it to me. So that once they give it to me at that point, I research the heck out of them. If you're a top producer and you have staff and you have people in front of you, I'm coming for the throat, baby. Wait, you want to hire this guy? The guy that is selling 100 homes a year in your marketplace? Listen, I don't know how you feel about it, but I know I wouldn't feel well about someone who doesn't have the time to take my calls, knowing you're following me with other people. You're hiring him. Chances are they might be too busy to handle your file. Here, it's going to be me one-on-one luxury, blah, 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 and I'll just go into the spiel at that point. I find whatever I can. Let's just say maybe they have it dialed in and it's going to be them the entire time. Well, hey, listen, this guy right here, I'm just curious. Besides his sign in the front yard and the MLS, I can't see any of this guy's marketing online. His social media, between his Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Google and Yelp, has only X amount of followers. His active engagement on his posts are this much. But you and I both agreed a moment ago that what's most important is who can expose your home to more people, right? Who can get you the most money in the shortest amount of time, right? In best terms, right? And I'm nodding my head. I'm anchoring them at the end of every question, right? Makes sense? Sound good? Yeah. Well, I can't see what this guy is going to do for you aside from listing on the MLS. Yeah, you're right about that. So let me show you what it is that we do. So automatically, I'm finding areas where I can discredit, not unprofessionally poop on them, but where I can find holes in their game, articulate those holes professionally, and then show them why our value proposition is better. And you have to be able to articulate that with tact, professionalism. Well, do you see this here? And you can find anything on anyone. Everyone has holes in their game, and you can find a hole anywhere. But if you can't find that hole and you can't articulate it in that objection handling session, they're going to have to find out for themselves. Your job is to hopefully articulate it so well that they see it clearly that they don't have to waste their time to go down that path. So at the very end, when it's time to signing, you're talking to them. It's like, man, I feel really good about this. You guys ready to partner up, right? Oh, but that other agent out there, hey, listen, don't even worry about it. I know you guys might feel obligated to having a call or doing that, but we're real estate professionals. We're independent contractors. So here's what I'll go ahead and do for you. Part of my services is I'll reach out to both brokers that you were meeting with this afternoon. I'll thank them professionally for their time and let them know you've already signed the contract with us and you're moving forward with our brokerage to help you sell the home. Does that sound fair to you? This way you don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation, okay? They're like, oh my gosh, you would do that for me? Absolutely. And I already have his phone number. It's this, right? Yeah, it is. Perfect. We'll take care of it afterwards. All right, so here's the listing agreement right there, and I just slide it over like it's normal. Remember, team, Closing a listing appointment is nothing more than a natural ending to a conversation. That's all closing is. If you had a conversation with them about what their needs are, you identified them, you handled the objections, meaning you handled their fears, you came up with a game plan, you articulated it well. That's just next steps. This is what we got to do. So
Dave, I have a question.
yeah, go ahead.
How do you present yourself when you're gonna go to that listing appointment, when you're like in front of their door?
Say that again.
How do you present yourself, like when you're at the door ready for the listing appointment?
I'm dressed in a suit, sometimes a tie, sometimes a jacket with a t-shirt and suit on, but always in a suit, dress shoes. As soon as they open the door, I'm warm and fuzzy. And then the first question after I thank them and say hello, the first question I ask them is, shoes on or off? That's the first question I ask, shoes on or off. And you'll be surprised. Some people, more people now, I'm starting to learn, appreciate shoes off in their house. And then I'll make a joke. Oh man, I'm so glad I wore matching socks today. And it breaks the ice and they start smiling. You know, they did a study at a college where they said, what makes closers or salespeople or just people in general more attractive? Charisma was one of them. Charisma was one of them. You have to be charismatic. You have to be somebody that people want to be around. Charismatic is not obnoxious. There's a difference. Being loud and being out there and trying to get attention, that's obnoxious. Charismatic, being warm and friendly, you have to have a smile. Your eyes have to smile. I'm not talking about a Chuck E. Cheese like you just came back from Disneyland smile. I'm talking about smiling professionally and having a glow in your eyes. Happy to be there. So I present myself with energy, with enthusiasm, with charisma. Another thing that I want you to learn, this is more on the art of selling and building rapport. Use fewer words to convey your message. Use fewer words to convey your message. If you have to repeat twice what you said in order to get the point across, you don't know it well enough. If you articulate your message, but you have to use ums, uhs, you don't know it well enough. And if you want to be a 6% listing agent, your mouth game better be on point. Now, you might pick up 6% listings signed at a high level because of relationships and past clients, but you go into a cold market, that's not going to work. I go on about 70 to 80 listing appointments per year. Active, 2-3 a week. I'm active. Had one yesterday. I have another one on Saturday. I'm active. This is what I do. 6% every time. Very seldomly will I take 5. But what I'm telling you is this. They will sense the professionalism in the way that you speak, in the way that your mannerisms. Another thing, I'm not all out there with my hands. You know, I grew up Mexican. My family were Mexican. So we talk a lot with our hands, like, oh my gosh, and you know, blah, 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 blah. And our hands are up here and our voice goes up. I had to learn to tone that down. Your tonality. Again, we're talking about the art of sales. Look at all of the most powerful people in the world. People who hold power. Mark Zuckerberg, Donald Trump, presidents, CEOs. Are they super flamboyant? Are they out there like this? Or do they have control over their emotions and their mannerisms? Come on, somebody. Could you imagine if the president of the United States was behind the podium and he was like, with his hands and like, oh my, that's so funny. Oh my. Could you imagine if you tried doing that at the United Nations in front of all the other powerful players there? Everyone at the United Nations, look at all the presidents and all the United Nations and all the power players. They're back, they're calm, they're relaxed. Oh, wait, better yet. What about your attorney and your doctor? Are they laughing their ear off? Oh my gosh, that was the greatest joke, Silvano. Are they human? They're laughing with you, they're jiving with you, but it's controlled. So when you're asking me what my mannerisms are like, that's where the art of sales comes in and what we're talking about physiologically. Mirroring and matching, having a tonality of authority, knowing how to speak and articulate your thoughts with fewer words. All those things are important because remember, in the sales pie chart, 55% of a person's decision is weighted on nonverbal communication. Over 55%, half of the listing presentations you go on, 100% of the listing presentations you go on, 55% of that person's decision will be weighted on what your body did. 55% of their decision will be weighted on what your body did, your physical mannerisms. 55% of a homeowner's decision on whether they hire you or not, whether they sign with you or not, say yes to you or not, has nothing to do with the words that you say and how you said them. 55%. If you want to close more deals, you want to close more listings, better check your mannerisms in your body. The other 28%, 27, 33%, 33% is your tonality, how you say your words. And 7% of their decision are the actual words themselves. So we're going deeper into sales there, but let's go back to the sales process. You pre-qualified, you sent that in advance, you've handled the objections, you've written them down, and now it's time to go into the presentation itself. Your number one objective is to build rapport in the very beginning. They will not work with you if they don't like you. They won't work with you if they don't like you. So you better know the 4 personality types, A, B, C, D, DISC, red, green, yellow, blue, however you want to label them. Know the 4 personality types and how they operate. Now mirroring and matching them. Who are they? How do you build rapport? It's not with common interests. You do it with common behaviors. I think that flew over a lot of your heads. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't build rapport with common interests. You build rapport with common behavior. If you walk into my house and you see I have a fishing rod on my door, and you're like, bro, you fish, I fish, and I'm a D personality, I'm going to get turned off quickly. Bro, I didn't hire you to talk about fishing. I brought you here for a job. Get to work. It might work with an I. Definitely won't work with the C. Maybe an S. An I for sure that will work. But you want to build rapport? It's not by discussing common interests. It's by common behavior. Let me ask you a question. And I want you guys to drop this in the chat. Is your closest circle like you or not like you? Are they similar to you and have similar beliefs and interests? Or are they not? Are they complete opposite? Your closest people. Drop it in the chat. I want you guys to see for yourself. Similar. It should be 100% similar. Very close to who I am. Rebecca says opposite. All of her closest people are not the same as she. They all have different interests, different behaviors, and all of it. Probably not true. Joanne says finding my circle. So I say that to you to say this. The people that you're going to connect with most in life are the people who share common behaviors with you. Not the people you share common interests. Common interests will get you in the door. Common behavior will keep you in the door. Write that down. Common interests will get you in the door. Common behavior will keep you in the door. Yeah, okay, cool. We both like basketball? Bet. Let's go hang out on a weekend and shoot some hoops. Bro, I don't like the way you cuss. I don't like the way you speak about people. I don't like the way that you're super loud and out there. That's not my style. So I'll probably hang out with you on basketball Saturdays, but beyond that, I'm not inviting you over to my family. Beyond that, I'm not inviting you over here. True or true, right? I know I'm speaking to some of you. Some of you are having a wake-up call right now. Top of the hour, I'm going to wrap it up with this. Inside of the listing appointment, your job is to build rapport, present, handle objections, and then you close. Build rapport, walk around the home, ask them to tell you about the home, then get a little deeper on their questions about who they are as people. By the time you sit down at the kitchen table, you should know everything about their plans and who they are. When you're sitting down at the table, your listing presentation is no more than the game plan for the selling of their home. So you want to sell to buy, right? Contingent, non-contingent. Down payment from the home, or do you want to pull that HELOC out? You have your plan. That's your presentation. And then as you're presenting all that, you're handling the objections within it. So by the time you're done presenting and the objections have been handled, they have nothing else to say, then let's move forward. And after you're done presenting and they're on board with you before you sign, spend 1 to 3 minutes just talking and connecting. Spend 1 to 3 minutes just talking and connecting before you ask to sign. Oh my gosh, no way. That's so awesome. Bring the guard down. Make them feel like a human again. They just went through a really stressful situation trying to sell their home. Someone just walked around their house and saw their chonies on the floor and their dirty dishes. It's kind of embarrassing for people. So bring the guard back down, present, you close, and after the 3 minutes of small talk, man, hey, listen, by the way, I feel good about everything. I'm sure you guys feel good about everything too, right? Yeah. Are you guys ready to partner up? Yeah, let's do it. Awesome. I stick my hand right in their chest. Both of them. I get that physical commitment right then. Boom, let's do it. Let's do it. And the next thing I say after that is, I just have some paperwork for you guys to sign and I'll get out of here. Okay, let's do it. That is the art of signing 6% listing agreements from start to finish. It starts with who you think you are and who you say you are, your mindset. It starts with your process of selling and making sure that you have an SOP in place. Then you move on to the selling process itself, which is sending your proposal, asking your questions, sending your proposal, presenting, and then closing. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank Reyes for having me over, and I'll go. I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions. Reyes, how do you want to do it?
Yeah, first off, Gabe, I want to thank you so much, bro. I've been in tons of training. This has hands down been the best training that I've ever had on a listing presentation in detail, breaking it down and really kind of showing us how you actually respond to it, like in real time. It felt like I was like the client with you as you were giving us examples. So thank you, bro. One question that I know that a lot of people were probably wondering is when it does come to commission and they tell you you're not going to handle it over the phone, maybe it's a scenario where the margins are a little bit thin, they need to walk away with a certain amount, right? How do you handle that 6% commission objection in those scenarios?
So, you know, you guys have to understand, if the meat isn't on the bone, the meat isn't on the bone. Right? If they bought it 2 years ago and it appreciated 6%, you can't charge 6%. Right? So number one, you have to analyze it and look at it. Always have your standard, but you can't have a standard where you can't help or do something for someone to help them out. That's number one. Number two, if you do have your standard of 6% and it's there, you can do it. As long as you've articulated your value of how you're going to help them solve their problems, which is contingent sale. Maybe you have a relationship with a contractor who can finance their remodel work before it goes on the market, and they collect payment at the close of escrow. That's a golden idea for you. If you can solve these problems that they have and articulate it in a way where you're going to take all the stress and problems away, that 6%, they're willing to pay for it because people would rather have the peace than the money in their pocket. And one of my favorite questions I ask people is when they say, hey, you know what? John Dove down the street's going to do it for 1%, for 2%. And I ask them one of two questions, depending on how the conversation's going. Hey, Ray, let me ask you an honest question, man. When was the last time cheap ever worked out for you, bro? When was the last time cheap ever worked out for you? Doesn't cheap end up being more expensive? The time, the energy, the headache. And if they didn't do it right the first time, you got to go back and fix it. Yeah, you're right about that. And then I hit him with, that's my one punch. Here's my right hook. This is the knockout after I say that. And your goal is obviously to make the most amount of money in the sale, right? Yeah. And you obviously need a negotiator who's going to negotiate the most money for you, right? Well, let me ask you a question. How confident are you on John Doe's ability to negotiate the best offer for you, the most amount of money for you and your family, when they couldn't even negotiate a full commission for themselves in front of you? Do you think that they're going to fight more for your money if they couldn't fight for the money that they feed their family with? They've already demonstrated their ability to negotiate, and they failed on the first test. Makes sense, owner? Yeah, it makes sense. That's why we charge what we charge. Okay, sounds good to me. Boom, punch them in the mouth, get it signed.
Dope. That was perfect, brother. I appreciate you so much, Gabe. We got to be mindful of his time. I know Gabe has a lot to get going on today. So, Gabe, thank you so much, bro. I do have this call recorded. So if you guys want a copy of it, let me know. I'd be more than happy to share it with you. Gabe, again, thank you so much, brother.
Bro, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you, Reyes. Thank you, guys. The Dingo team.
Hey, Gabe.
God bless you guys. Bye.
Later, guys.
Have a great one.